What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Realistic Room of the Wrexham. This is episode number 33, and we are in the thick of the January transfer window right now. Winless in 4 in all competitions, but we did end episode 32 on a potentially positive note. We drew with Leicester in the FA Cup, drew 0-0 at the King Power Stadium to earn ourselves a replay with Leicester. That game will be sandwiched between our two huge league games against Wigan and Portsmouth. So all three games today will be at home at the Racecourse Stadium against, incidentally, three sides that have all won the FA Cup in the last 20 years and have all got Premier League pedigree. So it's going to be a tough episode, and like we said, only winless in our last 4 as well. So we're in a bit of a rough patch right now, but I feel like multiple times in this career mode so far, we've hit rough patches and we've responded well. So we can't wait around too long for this response to come, because we're going towards the end of the season and we are just on the edge of the playoffs right now. So we need that good form to start coming in soon. In the last episode, we had big comings and goings. Due to the broken game, we lost 3 players who signed pre-contracts with teams, so they should have left in the summer, but they left in January, which was pretty annoying. So we had 7 players leave in total rather than the 4 that was planned. And we did bring in 4 players to help boost the quality in the depth as we look to push for promotion in the Championship. In came centre mids Koulibaly and Brown from the free agency market. And then we brought in Matty Folds as a left-back backup and Alex Smithies after our goalkeeper Lloyd, our backup Lloyd brother, he left in search of more first-team football. So Alex Smithies, the veteran, experienced veteran, comes in as a backup for Nathan Lloyd. We put Koulibaly on a ball-winning player plan. Will take him 9 weeks, but I'm thinking with Koulibaly, I mean, he's only 24. He could replace Evans as that CDM. I love George Evans, but I think, especially if we go up, the Championship just might be too big a step up for him. So I want that cover in that DM role, and I think Koulibaly could be the man. Well, going into today's episode, before we have that cup replay with Leicester, it is Portsmouth at home. Pompey, the side who are currently sat in 13th in the league, but they're only 5 points behind us and the playoffs, so a win today really drags them back into the hunt. So that pack chasing playoffs is such a tight affair right now. Like we said, we are winless in all 4 in our last 4 games, but we did beat Portsmouth 1-0 in this reverse fixture at Fratton Park in that really good bumper month we had a few months ago. Well, we made 3 changes to the side that drew in Leicester. Lloyd back in between the sticks. Belaber and Evans returned, and it was Belaber who had actually a really good chance in the first half. Ball came to him, but his weak foot, his shot, was curling towards that far post, but not curling enough, and it went wide. Portsmouth would take an early lead. Lowry scoring his first goal of the season before Mullin would grab his 27th in 28 games as Cyrus Christie grabs another assist. He's been on really good form recently, the veteran right back. Heading into the second half, and Pompey would unfortunately retake the lead. Rafferty takes advantage just from lazy defending, and he restores the visitors' lead completely against the run of play. So from that, we made a couple of subs, Bolton on for Morris and Pritchard on for Lee, but we could not find the equaliser. Josh Earl actually came up with a huge block to deny Pompey getting a third. I actually love that. There's nothing more satisfying when you put in a manual block to deny a goal. It just feels so good. Unfortunately, though, that resulted in no effect on the results, and Portsmouth actually win the game 2-1. So they return. So they respond to us beating them on their patch. They beat us on our patch, and we are now winless in 5. Winless in our last 4 league games as well, as we drop out of the playoffs and into 7th place. Not a good time to be slumping right now, as we know that group battling for promotion is so tightly contested, and Portsmouth, who were in the bottom half before that game, are now just 2 points behind us. So our focus changes to the FA Cup. The FA Cup replay against Leicester. Like we said, the Foxes won this competition just a few years ago during the sort of lockdown COVID era, but now they are they're back in the Premier League in the game, in real life. They are leading the Championship, absolutely smashing the Championship, and looking to make it an instant return to the top flight. Well, Can we cause another upset? We had Alex Smithies in goal, who made his debut for us against his former side in the third round game. He earned a clean sheet. Well, the clean sheet would not last very long in this one. Kiernan Drewsbury Hall, who has been an absolute superstar for Leicester this season in their championship campaign. He finds the opening goal just 4 minutes in, and then 13 minutes in, he is at it again. He bags his second, and not even 15 minutes gone, and it looks like this game might be gone from us already. I do want to say, though, we did make 11 changes, so even though we did field pretty much our strongest side against the Foxes at the King Power Stadium, that was because we didn't have a league game for another week. This time, this fixture was a midweek replay between two league games, and as you know, the league is our priority, not the cup competition. So, as if it wouldn't be hard enough for us to take on a Premier League side, we would be taking them on with a weaker side as well. 11 changes with the league being our focus, and you could really tell that the golfing class was evident in the first half, and Leicester actually should have made it 3-0 before half time, but Wesley, I think it was Wesley Fowles, had a shot from about 5 yards out and it went wide, showing why he is a defender. In the second half, we showed a bit of fight, and Bradshaw actually made it interesting. With 5 minutes to go, he towered up for a header and headed it home. And so I thought, you know what, 5 minutes to go, let's just go for it. We brought on Mullin, we brought on Lee, and we went all out attack. I think we went to like a 4-1-1-4 or something like that, something crazy. Just thinking, can we just get one final opportunity, one final chance to take this game to extra time? It wouldn't be deserved. Leicester have absolutely dominated us in all the statistics. Well, they would frustrate us here. Going into injury time, I don't know how they did this, but they just played it so well. They basically just won corner after corner after corner, whether it was going short and getting tackled and the ball going out, or a header getting saved. And they just ran down the clock. I could not get the ball. I eventually do. I think it actually goes out for another corner, but we're into the almost 97th minute when there was 4 minutes added on and the referee blows full time. So a little bit of hope toward the end there, but Leicester deservedly take this one and they are through to the next round of the FA Cup. I don't mind it, to be honest. Now we can just fully focus on the league as we enter the back end of the season, especially with our league form going sort of down the drain. We need to turn it around. So as much as a cup run would have been nice, I'm glad that now our focus is fully on the league. So good luck to Leicester, and I hope you do well. It was a good couple of games with you, but ultimately you were the better side. And as we see the draw here for the fourth round, Leicester will go on and face Everton away. So it would have been another Premier League side we would have faced. Would have fancied my chances against Everton, I don't know why. I feel like maybe we could have done something there, but that's all gone now. That's done. We focus on the league, and you would have seen there the captain Hayden says to us, the players are a bit concerned about the goals not being achieved. How many times has he come to us and said this? Look, we're in our second season. We're pushing for back-to-back promotions. Yes, we're in a bit of a slump of form, but trust the process. Trust the project, Hayden, and back us. And hopefully the team will as well. I feel, now, even though we are outside the playoffs now, I still feel good about this season. Say we finished 7th and the season ended here. I think that's a very good season. I know that the board wanted us to push for promotion, but I think after being promoted they were promoted into League 2 and then we won promotion in our first season straight to League 1. To then go for promotion again is a very, very tough ask. And I know that the presence around Wrexham right now, because of the owners, because of the takeover, is massive and the expectations are high. But you also have to be a bit realistic. And look, I think the fact that we're around the playoffs heading towards the back end of the season, I think it's a good achievement right now. But let's try and turn things around. Well, the third and final game of today's episode, it's another biggie. It is Wigan at home, the Latics, who are in 5th right now. They are in the playoffs. We are not. 4-point gap, so this is a massive game. If we can win, we'll move back into the playoffs probably, and within a point of Wigan. Well, we would take the lead. Paul Mullin, who else? This guy is just unbelievable. 28 league goals now. We're back to our recognised 11, and it's Lee to Mullin. And we take a 1-0 lead, but just 4 minutes later, the Latics would respond with immediate effect. Asgard, he would level for Wigan. But then they lost their heads. Smith would receive his marching orders, a straight red for a ridiculous tackle, And Wigan went from leveling the game to now having to play 70 minutes with 10 men. And if that wasn't enough, it was a double jeopardy because from the resulting free kick, we played it short. We then went out wide to Mendy, who cuts it back to Luke Bolton, and the winger fires in the ball to the far corner. Great finish from someone who has looked so lackluster in front of goal. Really good finish for Bolton, and I'm happy for him. And we lead 2-1. Well, a lofted ball up to the top. Lee finds Mullin with a beautiful header, and Paul Mullin chests it down and volleys home for what is his 29th league goal of the season. This guy's an absolute joke of a man. It's a shame that he's, sort of heading towards the twilight of his career. I think he's 30 now in our save. So he's probably not going to get any better. Hopefully, we can have this sort of level from him for the next year or two because he is just fantastic. I absolutely love Paul Mullin, and we would not be anywhere without him. So I think we'll keep on hold on to him. I don't feel threatened that we'll lose him even if we don't get promoted. I think Paul Mullin's quite happy with being at Wrexham now towards the back end of his career and being involved with this project. So I don't fear that we're going to lose Paul Mullin, but it's just a shame that he's not like 24, 25 right now, and we haven't got like 5, 6, 7 years of this Paul Mullin. Although saying that, it means that it will be a challenge for us. A couple seasons time, we'll have to bring in a new striker and someone who is going to replace him, which is going to be a very difficult task indeed. Well, into the second half, and it was quite a quiet second half, to be honest. We had a couple chances to extend the lead. Couldn't do so, and then Wigan actually made it a really nervy ending. A really good header, almost like a twisting, diving header, goes into the back of the net, and they make it 3-2 with 20 minutes to go. But we do see the game out to get a much needed 3 points. And as you'll see the league table there, we don't go into the playoffs, but we are level on points with Birmingham, and we are now on the brink of the playoffs once again with just, how's my maths, 17 league games to go, so still quite a way, but we're ticking these games off very fast indeed. Well, it is we are going to roll into transfer deadline day. We only have £100,000 in the bank. I'm not looking to bring in anyone else. I'm not looking to sell anyone else. I know we've sold 7 players, we've brought in 4, so we are down 3 players, but I still feel good about the squad until a very interesting offer indeed. Sheffield United coming for Luke Bolton, a £1.8 million bid for the 25-year-old. Now this one is tasty. I had a look to see where Sheffield United are. They got relegated, so they're back in the Championship now. They are in the playoffs in the Championship, looking to return to the top flight. And this was an interesting one for me. Luke Bolton, he's been decent, but I've also had my stresses with him. His finishing hasn't been good. I know he scored that really good finish against Wigan in the last game, but he hasn't been, I don't think he's been the asset I thought he would when we brought him in for Salford. And I sort of weighed this up, and I thought, if we can bring in a decent chunk of money, I know we're on transfer deadline day, but I've got a couple people as replacements I could bring in. If we could bring in a nice chunk of money for Bolton, I feel like sending him to a highly rated Championship side is pretty realistic. And at the same time, I won't feel too aggrieved if we can replace him, because Bolton, he has been decent, but he hasn't been the best as well. And I'm not against this sale. I'm really, really not. So we go back and forth with the Sheffield United gaffer. We eventually agree on a £2.5 million fee. So we go at £700,000 above what they originally came in for. Very happy with this one indeed. We rejected a bid from Bristol City for Elliot Lee. He won't be going anywhere. But Luke Bolton will be heading to Sheffield United and Bramall Lane for a record deal in Wrexham's history, £2.5 million for the winger. Look, I hope he goes there and he smashes it. I really do. I hope that he progresses and he improves his abilities and he smashes it at Sheffield United. But I feel like this kind of deal for a player like this who has a bit of promise coming from a bigger team, but someone who isn't like an original here. We brought him in last summer. I just think, you know what, I feel happy with him going. So £2.5 million, a record deal for Wrexham, and he is out the door. And we are down a winger. We are down our starting right winger. We have Ryan Morris, but he is not good enough. I need cover. And so the person I wanted to bring in was Patrick Roberts, 27 years old on the free agency market, has plenty, and I mean plenty, of EFL experience. This guy is class. He's played for clubs like Sunderland, Derby, Middlesbrough, Norwich, and Fulham. He's a dynamic player who can play on the wing or behind the striker. He has plenty of play styles, as you can see, and he just has that little bit about him, the same sort of feeling that Alex Pritchard gave me, that, you know, when he can show that little bit of quality and win you crucial points. So I think he's definitely an upgrade on Bolton, and we've picked him up for free. So we've essentially upgraded our right winger and made £2.5 million from it. I'm very happy with this deal. I think Patrick Roberts, still at 27 as well, he's got a lot to prove. Dropping down a division, he's used to playing in the Championship, but I think he's going to be a very good addition indeed. Very happy with this one. Let me know in the comments what you think of this signing. Well, with just under £2 million left in the bank, we actually set up a youth scout in the Republic of Ireland for the rest of the season. I want to see if we can fill up our youth academy. It's running quite dry at the moment. There's not many people in there. I want to get some prospects in the youth academy from now until the end of the season. Well, that'll be it for today's episode 33. It was a big one. We crashed out of the FA Cup, we returned to winning ways in the league, and we received a record transfer fee for one of our players. I hope you're enjoying the series as much as I am. Drop a comment down below if you're happy with the Roberts deal, if you're happy with the selling of Luke Bolton, or if you think that was a mistake. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in episode 34 very soon.